In this episode, we're going to dive into the first of a back-to-back game stand against the Spurs. You're watching CS 105.1, where I talk about sports and movies with good vibes. Let's get it. Hey everyone, if you're looking for a game-changing webcam that keeps up with every move, you've got to check out the Insta360 Link. It's a 4K AI-powered webcam that auto-tracks so you're always in frame, even if you're moving around. Perfect for live streams, meetings, content creating, also podcasts. It adjusts to light, zooms in and out, and follows you naturally. This is hands-free, hassle-free, studio-quality production for anyone who wants professional visuals right from the desk. Insta360 Link is a total game changer. How's it going, everyone, and welcome. I'm CS Chandler, here for another take of Nuggets basketball. So it was the first game of a back-to-back against the Spurs. The Nuggets without AG, again, start with Jokić, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., CB, and Russell Westbrook, who is really making a good fit in the starting lineup, though I wouldn't go as far as to say they need to bench any of the regular starters in order to get Russ more starting minutes, but he has been doing very well in the starting lineup. So Nuggets sporting the white jerseys once again. I don't know why they keep on wearing that more often than not. I'd love to see more of the other jerseys around too. Sometimes some months it just feels like they favor one jersey over the other, maybe. But Spurs with their infamous black jerseys. And the unfortunate thing was the Spurs got the win over the Nuggets tonight. Final score 113-110. So let's break it down. What happened? What went wrong? What went right? Let's get into it. First quarter, the game tipped off with a redo, giving the Spurs control early on. Wemby missed an intentional step-back three, but the action heated up when Russell Westbrook fed Jokić, drawing a foul on Wemby. Michael Porter Jr. opened the scoring with a floater over the towering Frenchman. The Spurs then responded with a flurry of buckets, taking a 4-point lead and forcing Malone to call an early timeout. Unfortunately, the Nuggets couldn't capitalize on the break, while the Spurs extended their lead with relentless drives to the rim, which the Nuggets did little to contest. They just kept on allowing bucket after bucket of easy dunks, easy layups, everyone just watching the ball, looking, and there was a lot of ball watching tonight. I will definitely point that out. There was a lot of ball watching, and I specifically saw, once again, Michael Porter Jr., who has been consistently an issue with ball watching. Not that it's an example to trade him. I do not want to trade Michael Porter Jr. I'm just pointing it out that that's one thing that he needs to fix. He is consistently ball watching, and you can see it in every single game. So then Jokić, battling foul trouble, checks out of the game at 3:30 left in the first quarter, but a trio of Nuggets threes reclaimed the lead briefly. Despite their efforts, the Spurs held strong, closing the first quarter 32-30 in the Spurs' favor again. So then we get into the second quarter. The second quarter opened with the infamous non-Jokić minutes. Murray with a bounce pass to P-Watt for a dunk and a foul. First points of the quarter, but P-Watt couldn't convert the three-point play, tying the game instead. Fear of Wembanyama's shot blocking forced the Nuggets out of the paint and to attempt missed threes, while the Spurs drained 3 consecutive triples on the other end, building a 9-point lead. It was brutal. Swatson got some impactful blocks and makes for his 8th consecutive game with major blocks. Jokić returned to steady the Nuggets briefly, but Wembanyama dominated both ends, finishing the quarter strong. The Spurs outscored the Nuggets once again, 28-22 in the period, and entered halftime leading 60-52. And then we get into the third quarter, which so far has been the Nuggets' strongest quarter, which is weird because it used to be one of our weak quarters. Now it is our strongest quarter, and this definitely proved that. The Nuggets opened the second half with a missed jumper from Jokić, but quickly found their rhythm as Brody fed Jokić for the first points. A dominant 19-6 run gave Denver a 4-point lead, with Jokić drawing Wemby's 4th foul, causing him to check out of the game, and then draws Collins' 5th foul. So both them almost fouled out. It was so close, but despite a tied game after some missed shots and Spurs free throws, Michael Porter Jr. nailed amazing three to restore the lead, and the Nuggets surged ahead, winning the quarter 38-27, heading into the final frame with momentum. But then we get into the fourth quarter, and this is where everything gets really super tense, and it shouldn't have been. We had the lead, we had built the lead up, and then in typical Nuggets fashion lately, we kind of lose that, especially against the Spurs, unfortunately. So the Spurs opened with a goaltend on DJ. Followed by an unsuccessful challenge from the Spurs on Wemby tapping a ball out of bounds. A reverse layup gave the Spurs a slim lead, but CB drew Wemby's fifth foul, sinking both free throws to put the Nuggets back on top. Wemby responded with back-to-back threes, reclaiming the lead, and then Strother hit a three to notch the Nuggets' first 100, but costly turnovers sealed their fate. The Spurs edged out Denver, winning the quarter 26-20 and securing a 113-110 victory. So let me just back up real quick. What happened was it was like 20 some seconds left on the clock, and Spurs had control. They put up a ball, they missed. It was then 17 seconds on the clock, and we had the ball. And Malone did not call a timeout to advance the ball up. They took the time to go up, and then Michael Porter Jr. was forced to put up a shot that he missed, causing the Spurs to get the ball and then just transition points right out of the bat and for a dunk, and then gave like a one and some change seconds left for the Nuggets to kind of put up a three, a Hail Mary, and they missed. And so that's why we lost by 3 points, because we couldn't control the ball. And actually on that last possession, it got put up to a turnover because they knocked it out. So, but we'll dive into more of the stats right after this. As a cinematographer, photographer, and now a podcaster, I do believe lighting is everything. And if you're serious about creating dynamic content, you need to check out Nanlite. They're all about precision and control. Whether it's soft, natural lighting or vibrant colors, Nanlite gives you full flexibility to set the mood for any scene. From compact LEDs to powerful softboxes, Nanlite has light solutions that fit every setup. It's ideal for photographers, like myself, videographers, like myself, and creators who want to pro-grade quality right out on their fingertips. With Nanlite, you're lighting like a pro every time. And we're back. All right, so let's get into these stats, right? So Christian Braun played 42 minutes tonight. He played the most out of all the Nuggets tonight. He made 11 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. He had 2 blocks, 3 from 10 from field goals, so not great. His shooting was not great tonight. A lot of the Nuggets shooting was not great tonight. He had 2 for 6 from three-pointers, which is technically better than what he's been doing. He has a lot of other games lately within the past month where it's like 0 for 6. So at least having 2 for 6, I'll take that. He had 3 for 4 from free throws. He had 0 turnovers, which was big because a lot of our other starters had more turnovers. But overall, though, it was a low turnover game for the Nuggets, despite all of that. And just, unfortunately, the biggest turnover was at the very end, the crucial turnover. So, but he did have 2 personal fouls. He was a 0 tonight. Michael Porter Jr. Was the second Nugget to play the most amount of minutes. He played 41 minutes, made 22 points, 4 rebounds, 1 assist. He had 2 blocks, 9 for 14 from field goals, 4 for 8 from three-pointers. He had 1 turnover and 0 personal fouls, was a +7. And then we have Jokić, who played 36 minutes. I know that Malone doesn't want to overplay Jokić, but I think in games like this, Jokić should be the one with the most amount of minutes because we can't afford non-Jokić minutes in like clutch games like this. So But he had 36 minutes. He had a bigger game than Wembanyama. I just want to point that out right away. 41 points, 18 rebounds, 9 assists, 1 assist away from a triple-double, but that's still monster numbers there. 2 steals. He was 15 for 36 from field goals, 3 for 10 from three-pointers, 8 for 9 from free throws. He had 2 turnovers, 3 personal fouls, was a +7. Westbrook he played 31 minutes, 9 points, 6 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals, 4 for 7 from field goals, 1 for 2 from three-pointers, 0 for 2 from free throws. He had 3 turnovers, 5 personal fouls, was a +6. So he almost fouled out. And 2 of his steals were actually amazing steals against Wembanyama, which was great because it was really difficult to face Wembanyama tonight. So Murray played 36 minutes. He had 14 points, so a low-scoring game once again for Murray. He had 4 rebounds, 7 assists, 6 for 17 from field goals, 2 for 5 from three-pointers, and he had 2 turnovers, 1 personal foul, was a -7. Out of the bench, Julian Strother probably had the most productive amount of minutes offensively. He had 22 minutes and got 11 points off the bench, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 steal. I feel like he should have had a block, and they took it away from him. But there was a play there where he definitely blocked someone. But I think they might have given it to Watson or someone else, maybe Brown. But he shot 57% from field goals. He had 50% from three-pointers. He had 0 turnovers, 2 personal fouls, which is technically lower for him. He normally is close to fouling out every single game. He was a +1, so he was the only plus off the bench. Peyton Watson, he played 18 minutes, only had 2 points, but he was kind of consistent throughout the entire stats here. He had 2 assists, 2 rebounds, 2 steals, 2 blocks. So like 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. And then he had 0 turnovers, 0 personal fouls. It was a -10. He had 2 amazing blocks, really, just to clarify there. And then we don't really need to get into any of the other players there. So overall, the Nuggets had 46 rebounds to their 56 because Wembanyama had 18 rebounds and Chris Paul had 8. Like they together, just the annoying bunch there. The Chris Paul only made 7 points. So, you have Westbrook with 9 points, Chris Paul with 7. So it really is the difference there is Wembanyama. But him and Jokić both tied, so that's interesting. Because then I would actually say Christian Brown had a lot of good rebounding, and yet still the Spurs out-rebounded us. Then we had 33 assists to their 31. We had 7 steals to their 4. We had 7 blocks to their 3. Now, this stat itself is very interesting to me because Wembanyama leads the league in blocks alone. He usually makes more blocks in one game than an entire opposing team does. Or the rest of his team. Tonight, he only had 2 blocks. The only other block came from Collins. So the 2 of them made up for 3 blocks. We had 7. So we did out-block them, which was amazing. So everything so far is leading up to the fact that we should have won this game. It's so annoying. Let's see here. We shot 43% from field goals. They shot 46. We shot 38% from three-pointers. They shot 36. We shot 68% from free throws. They shot 61. So you go from a game where we had 100% on free throws now to 68%. That is an awful decline. Like, I'll take 80%, but to go from 100 to 68, that is just stupid. So stupid. And then we had 8 turnovers to their 13. So still a decent turnover game for us. We are normally up in like the 18 turnover area, so they did clean that up. It's just they caused a major turnover at the major minutes of the game, and then we had 13 personal fouls to their 15. So, it just. I think the difference. Oh, actually, Champagne also had some very clutch buckets there, as did Johnson and Vasil. Both they had some major impact on that roster there. So, Wembanyama went for 35. He had 35 and 18 tonight. But again, Jokić had 41 and 18 and 9 assists. Wembanyama only had 4 assists. So Jokić still outplayed Wembanyama. And now that it's on a back-to-back, we always know that the Nuggets do better on the second game of a back-to-back. So hopefully, even though we're not at home tomorrow, we get that win. But we'll go into the big takeaways after this. Hey everyone, let's talk sound quality. Imagine having pro-level audio that's easy to set up, flexible, and sounds incredible. That's the Røde Pod Mic USB. It's got both USB and XLR connections, so whether you're recording solo at home or in a full studio setup, you're covered. And get this, the built-in DSP effects let you adjust the sound with zero lag. You get that deep, smooth broadcast tone right out of the box. It's versatile, powerful, and basically makes your voice sound like pure gold. And we're back. All right, so let's wrap this up here. The big takeaways. So, not gonna lie, this was yet another traumatic loss against the Spurs. If any of you did watch last season and you remember the last matchup against the Spurs, I think it was like game 80 or 81 or whatever. We were in San Antonio against them. They were hosting us, and we lost a 21-point lead against them, and then lost the game in a major clutch moment where Jamal Murray caused a turnover by not inbounding the ball in time. And both games, tonight and the last one, were games that the Nuggets should have won. This was a game that, towards the end, was in favor of the Nuggets, but bonehead plays led to crucial turnover and the loss. So again, very similar to last season's last matchup with them, and it came down to Jamal Murray not inbounding the ball in time, causing a turnover. Spurs win. Wemby also is too much of a cheat code. The guy is 7'5". It's way too unfair. He just stands in the paint like a goalie blocking a net, and is just able to block whatever he wants and get whatever bucket he wants. He lives in the defensive paint too long, and since he draws ticket sales, the refs don't call as many fouls on him or defensive 3 seconds on him as much as they should. And he definitely was in the paint a lot of the time tonight, way more than 3 seconds. But because he draws ticket sales, they're not going to get him out of there. Like, he's just a stupid cheat code. It's just unfair right now at this moment, I know we have Jokić and he played better than Wemby tonight, but still, like, Wemby's height and reach and everything is just too much. Unfortunately, Wemby's height also did intimidate the Nuggets to the point that the first half, they weren't thinking of ways they could score in the paint. They kept getting scared and going to the arc to brick threes. Wemby isn't the first giant basketball player. The coaching staff should have had more scouting on ways to score on Wemby. It was embarrassing how much Wemby made the Nuggets look like scared mice. It just looked like the Nuggets were stuck and couldn't find ways to score the easiest buckets when they needed to. Going into tomorrow's match, though, I don't know how the Nuggets are going to defend against Wemby. When he's able to block any shot, like I've said, he's able to make any bucket he wants, and now the Spurs will have home field advantage. This is going to be an even tougher rebound win for the Nuggets to be able to overcome. Other than going right at Wemby and knowing the high chance of him blocking their shot, for a chance to draw a foul on him, like I don't know what else to do against him. The guy is way too tall. He's way too flexible and mobile and everything. Like he's just too annoying, as it really is. Jokić still outplayed though Wemby, despite Wemby getting whatever he wanted. So if the Nuggets have any hope of winning, they will need to rely more so on Jokić tomorrow. Otherwise, the team is just not connected enough to get the win over 7-5 Wemby. Like tonight, there were so many times where they could have easily have gotten another turnover or a rebound or whatever, but they didn't stick with the play. They didn't go into the paint and try to box out the Spurs. They just watched the ball go out of bounds, or they just watched the ball go over to the Spurs rather than trying to actually dive for the ball. The same fire that we saw in the last game against the Hawks, we did not see tonight against the Spurs. That was really irritating, I feel like. We saw two different teams now within two separate matchups. The Nuggets tonight were not the same Nuggets that we saw against the Hawks. And the Hawks should be kind of technically a better team than the Spurs. The Spurs were at the 10th seed, but now because of this win, that bumped them up to the 8th seed. So it's just really frustrating that you get this so many drastically different kind of games from a Nuggets that should be more consistent by now. This should have been a 4-game winning streak, and now since the early beginning of this season, we haven't been able to get more than 3 wins at one time. And it's just really frustrating for us Nuggets Nation. We want to see our Nuggets get a good lead to be talked about by the other networks and everything. And you see like the Knicks going on a long winning streak. You see the Magic going on a long winning streak. You get to see the Bucks going on a long winning streak. The Rockets, the Mavs go on a long winning streak. Like everyone else has gone on long winning streaks except for the Nuggets. We can only go on a 3-game winning streak and then it's broken up, which isn't much, like a lot of teams can go on 3-game winning streaks. So it's just really annoying that we're not connected enough to stick it out for more than just 2 games or 3 games at most. So what does this loss mean for the Nuggets? Well, we actually had to wait for the Lakers to wrap up their game tonight. And if they had lost, we would have kept the 4th seed, but they won. And so that means that we dropped down to the 5th seed. We went back down to the 5th seed. Luckily, Dallas also lost tonight, so they're at the 6th seed. So we're still ahead of them, but now we're behind the stupid Lakers. And so now we really need to win tomorrow, and then we absolutely need to win against the Celtics and Clippers. Like these next games are very pivotal for placement, and the Nuggets just cannot hold off on the gas. They need to keep on pushing through, despite how difficult this month is overall. They got to push on through. So the Lakers are now in the 4th seed because we were tied at one point, and if they had lost, we would have stayed at the 4th seed. They probably would have tied with Dallas, but now we're a game behind, half a game behind the Lakers. And then, and actually, I think the Lakers, they came off of a back-to-back themselves. So they played, they played the Trailblazers yesterday and they won. And then they played the Hawks tonight and won. Like, the Lakers got a double win in a back-to-back. Why can't the Nuggets? That's just so freaking frustrating. And so then, and also the Knicks got their first loss in a while too, because they faced OKC, and now OKC is on a 14-game winning streak. But overall, I feel like I would rather have a win against the Celtics over a win against the Spurs. Like, that's the main priority for me. I mean, of course, I would love to win all of them, but just at least win against the Celtics. And we do know that the Nuggets do have a knack for winning against good teams, or at least good teams that aren't called the Cavs. But against the Lakers and Celtics, we definitely play our hardest. So hopefully they do with this season as well against the Celtics, and hopefully we don't let them win at our home. The next games are going to be again tomorrow, where they fly to. I'm sure they're actually on the plane right now to fly to San Antonio, because they got the San Antonio Spurs once again tomorrow night, and hopefully we can get a win, because it's also Wembanyama's birthday tomorrow. And we need to rob him of that birthday gift. Let's get a win, Nuggets. Let's ruin Wembanyama's birthday. And then we have 2 days off. And then we're back on Tuesday for the Nuggets hosting the Celtics in the first of another back-to-back, which then the Wednesday is the Clippers. And then we wrap up that week with Friday's matchup against the Nets, and hosting the Nets, and then we go over to Dallas for a few games there. So hopefully the Nuggets can work out a good winning streak, and get some major wins that are needed, that can be impactful. Well, that's all I got for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a like and subscribe, share it out to your friends and family. And you've been watching CS 105.1, where I talk about sports and movies with good vibes. We'll catch you tomorrow.